Be advised, mature content ahead. This podcast is brought to you ad-free thanks to the Legion of Demons at patreon.com/NOTLP. If you like what you hear, there's much more at patreon.com/NOTLP. Join the Legion. That's patreon.com/NOTLP. And now the show.
How do you do? Just a word of friendly warning. I think it will thrill you. It may shock you. It might even horrify you. So if any of you feel that you do not care to subject your nerves to such a strain, now is your chance to, well, we've warned you.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
How are you?
For the Midland.
We're doing Rutger Hauer movies, and he's like, "How are you doing?" is the theme.
Oh, I see. I forgot about that.
That's okay. You know, you have a full life.
Well, Kelley's got the cove.
Yeah.
Oh my God, listeners and patrons alike. Well, patrons are listeners, I guess. I don't know why I talk about this so frequently. Anyway, I'm sick.
Yeah.
Guys. So be careful when you listen to this. Make sure you're all vaxxed up.
Wear a condom.
Put some N95 mask over your headphones.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Just listen responsibly and with caution, because I'm not wearing a mask right now.
Listen delicious.
And that's only because everyone already had COVID earlier in the week here.
All right.
So
we did it, guys. The whole podcast has had
we
COVID.
COVID. And Kelley is
Yeah.
remote right now.
Yes.
I don't know if we said that or
yes.
Yeah.
not. So he's doing the responsible thing.
I'm being very remote and aloof. I'm just
He's inside one of those coin operated jerk off booths right now. He's on the other side of the glass. He's on break.
Is he jerking off for us, or are we jerking him?
Wait a minute.
Well,
I'm washing my balls right now for the next show.
Yeah. So if you guys hear coins drop and Kelley gets quiet for a minute,
He's busy working.
that's why. So yeah, we're doing Rutger Hauer. Up first, we're going to talk about Split Second, which is the thing. I was watching Split Second recently, and I was like, how have we never done this?
And then I watched a movie. I'm like, this is why we never done it.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Oh yeah.
It's a ridiculous film.
I've never heard of this movie until Freddy's like, we should do
Split
this.
Second.
Yeah.
And then the theme, I said we need to find a theme that we can do Split Second as part of the theme, and you suggested doing Rutger Hauer movies.
Well,
So.
originally you want to do Future Crimes, I guess. Is that what it's called? Future Cop?
It might have been something like that because it takes place in the future. We'll talk about that in the
future of
too.
2008.
So yeah, the future of the past.
It's more like AFCAP, am I right? All future cops. That's
All RoboCops are Robo Bastards.
what I've heard.
So I'll be reviewing a movie called Mad God for Straight to Video Russian Roulette.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to hear about
Oh
this.
yeah, this is I was going to watch this, but I forgot. It's that stop motion one, right?
But then you got high.
I didn't.
It's stop motion. It's Phil Tippett, who, if you're a fan of stop motion animation, you know his name. If not, I'll explain more about him when I get to it.
Does he have a production company called Just the Tippett?
Just the Tippett. So it is not our normal day because it was the 4th, and I had to go see my great niece and give her snuggles and play with the golden retriever.
Is she pretty great?
Not to mention celebrating our independence and all the great things that are going on in the country these days.
I didn't wish anyone a happy 4th.
Yeah, I didn't give America a birthday present.
Yeah.
I actually, even for, I had to put out a thing for work, like a Google business post for a bunch of different little businesses. And I did not. I was going to put Happy 4th of July, and I was like, oh, I can't put that. So I said something like, hope you and your family have a safe and good holiday or something like that. I couldn't even say it in a fake work marketing thing.
We're hoping your daughters get what they need on this 4th of July.
I wrote it's 4th of July.
That is the day.
I guess. And their little shrug emoji.
So you did a white shirt. You just said it is the 4th of July.
It is.
It is.
It's some bullshit.
We actually did have fun though, in spite of the.
Oh, we went to the parade.
The climate in the air.
That. Yeah,
but we went to the Northside Parade after a 3-year break.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was real nice.
Thanks to Nathan and Jessica for hosting. They live real close to that spot.
Yeah.
Those are our friends from Whorehound Magazine. If you're not a subscriber,
yes,
you should.
And then a new Whorehound Weekend's coming in September.
No, I'm excited.
That's right.
But yeah, Northside Parade, which is the neighborhood in Cincinnati where people are cool and progressive.
Yeah, it's the hippie
and
neighborhood.
Fun.
Yeah.
That's where I used to live when I was a little baby.
When you were just a little baby?
When I was just a little baby.
Did you go to the parade when you were a little baby?
No, because my family were Jehovah's Witnesses.
That's right.
Yeah, Amy.
Fucking shit.
Jesus.
It's crazy to me.
They went to protest it.
They're what? That was fun because you get to see people. I mean, it felt like a little extension of Pride and or the protest, the abortion protest. So that felt like, okay, I can celebrate this.
Yeah. Well, the people, it's not a corporate thing. It's like literally the neighborhood.
Yes.
It's like the grown-up version of those cute little 4th of July parades that little people who live in cul-de-sacs.
Oh, and every kid like decorates their
get their wagon out.
I was so jealous. This was the only other, like when I was a kid, the holiday that I really wanted to celebrate that I didn't get to, of course, was Halloween. But I also really wanted to do 4th of July because my neighborhood, especially back where I was all Catholic, like firemen and shit, and they put on a for realsies like little parade through the neighborhood, but also all the little kids, like they brought like fire trucks and police cars and sirens, and they threw candy, and the kids all got to be in the parade, and then they gambled later and they set off fireworks, and I just had to watch from my window
in the coin-op booth.
I'm sorry.
In the coin-op booth while I
as a child
was jerked off and doing jerking off.
Dear Lord.
Don't put that up.
No, this was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, well.
I wasn't allowed to go to the
Elise wouldn't let him. It had nothing to do with any sort of dogmatic reason. It was just that.
Hey, when you got to work the booth, you got to work the booth.
You got to work the booth.
That's right.
You can't get off. Well, you can't get off.
It was my day.
You can't ask for time off.
She was like, I did my day. Now it's your day.
Oh my God.
What an interesting concept that would be.
A jerk off booth in your house?
No, a couple who does like a coin-op booth and you don't know which one you're going to get. They're just on like a spinning stage like that.
I'm almost certain this had to exist in Times Square in the 80s.
Yeah, on 42nd Street.
What's that called? That game where you throw the ball in and it spins?
What? Roulette?
Roulette. Yeah, it's like a roulette of jerk off.
How did you not remember the word roulette?
It's part of our show.
That's hilarious. The one where you throw the ball in and somehow I knew what you meant.
And it spins.
Well, because that's the one you throw the ball in.
Yeah, I mean, like, it could have been basketball or golf with Andy.
Well, but there would have been a basket in basketball.
Because when you take the
spinny ball,
that round thing.
I was so mad. I wish I was a child. I wanted to kick some children because there was a man on a skateboard in the parade just tossing out $20 bills.
Are you serious?
Yes, you didn't see this part?
Why didn't you get it?
But all the kids, everybody let their kids go get the $20. And I'm like, fuck, I could use $20 gas prices.
What?
These kids are going to buy Pokemon cards.
Like,
they're
going to give that money back to their parents. They're going to be like, go get that. And you can have the candy.
Wait, he was literally throwing out $20 bills.
Yeah,
it was an elaborate mob money laundering scheme. Probably it was probably like I donated all this money to the Northside Parade. It's counterfeit.
I was like, I could take all these kids, get those 20s.
See, they get the tax credit for the donated money.
Oh, is that true?
That's right, but it was drug money to begin with.
The original money, and now this is the counterfeit. It's been washed so many times. It's the cleanest.
Oh, this isn't even real This isn't even real currency. We've gotten so far removed.
Yeah.
That we've laundered out to counterfeit.
What? You can't launder money so good that it becomes counterfeit, but
well, that's what I mean, we've gone so many levels of like in between.
Right. We
that it's not even real cash anymore.
Through Amway and stuff. We sold a bunch of stuff through Amway and
we got like McDonald's dollars from the 90s or something.
I couldn't think of
Dave and Buster's cards.
I was having a hard time thinking of like a more current, like multi-level marketing thing than Amway.
That wouldn't have been as funny. Amway really is, I think, what made it stand out.
Well, I was worried that people wouldn't know what Amway meant.
Well, but we know.
It's just an MLM from back in the day. When we were kids, when we watched people's families destroyed around us in the 1980s.
I never encountered an Amway family. Did you guys ever?
No, I never did. It was only Avon.
Yeah.
And Mary Kay.
Amway, no. But my brother, I was just talking about this the other day. Him and one of his partners, they got involved in a pyramid scheme selling, like, I want to say air purifiers or water filters, one of those two things. And it was obvious to my parents and probably even me as a child that this was an ill-conceived venture.
Breaks my heart that people would scam people just trying to make a living.
Yeah, that's the worst, man. And also, it's like the selling point. Like they bank it on this whole concept of the American dream and how you can get it by just buying this product from me and selling it for more money. Like that is some skeezy fucking shit. That's the darkest side of capitalism, really.
But I would say it's the whole idea, though. I mean, honestly, that's all anybody really does.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's all about shifting the control. I think the main difference is you, at least if you're not in the multi-level marketing thing and you're out in the regular free market working for somebody, you at least have the government protecting you in some way. Where those multi-level marketing people, they're basically just left out fucking, pasture.
Well, that's true.
With all that stuff. So at least as an employee of somewhere, you have that going for you. But like, I'm just saying, if I had circles of hell for capitalists, that multi-level marketing people would be the ones getting pineapples up their butts.
Oh, for sure.
Wow.
That's
big
all,
old pineapples. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be so much worse than pineapples up your butt.
Just regular pineapples. They're not on fire.
Right. Well, the most noble one, though, when you get to here's the most noble form of capitalism is street busking. Those people are going right to heaven. See, I'm a new prophet.
So you're like one of those those wealthy pastors. What's that gospel?
They call that the
prosperity gospel.
Prosperity.
I was like,
well, that's the whole thing. It's all tied together and it's one big. I bet people didn't realize they were going to get this at all.
Buskers go to heaven.
Buskers go to heaven. Amway goes to hell.
So you're monetizing the afterlife.
I can sell you a crate of...
And it's already been monetized if you didn't already know.
Andy, that shit got monetized in
I know.
932.
The tidings and shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it called tithings?
That shit started out monetized. That's the whole point again.
It's the original MLM.
Yeah.
Even when you go back to just sacrificing your babies.
That's multi-level marketing. Mm-hmm. Do you like?
Well, no, but it's
bring me
it's
5
the church.
Babies.
It's paying for afterlife shit.
Yeah, that's true.
With your physical goods,
I need
buying your babies or your money.
Yes. Yeah. That's like what we all remember from history class. Indulgences.
I feel like we're dangerously close to using the word sheeple soon.
Fucking sheeple. Well,
we're not going to use it, but we're going to use it.
I told Freddie the other day that I want to be a Satanist, but not the one that believed in God. But what'd you say, Kelley?
Nothing.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were.
She wants to be a Seventh-day Satanist.
Yeah, I was just mostly kidding, but not really. But then I ended up going to my very first protest ever on Saturday. Downtown to the bans off our bodies.
Oh, I thought you were protesting high gas prices.
That too. It was a mishmash. And I was like, what do I wear? And then I grabbed Freddie's Baphomet t-shirt that he had from Halloween a few years ago. And I'm like, this feels like the vibe I want to bring.
Yeah.
So I wear my devil shirt, and I got a couple of I love your shirts, which was nice.
Were they
Nice.
Satanists?
I think they were just people that are like, yeah, I get it.
It was actually Baphomet.
It was Baphomet.
He was there. That's me.
Hey!
Oh my
So
gosh.
did it work, Amy, or do we have abortion rights back?
No.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
Ugh.
That shit didn't work.
But congratulations for standing up for women's rights.
We did our best. Listen,
Yes.
Mom's stamina isn't great. We did as much marching as we could, but we did. We got to, they had a bunch of speakers and whatever. It was kind of funny because I feel like I've seen the mayor so many times.
You've seen him 3 times in 1
But
week.
you're not complaining, right? Because he's a
Hot
he's a
mayor.
daddy.
Again, let me
Yeah,
just
hot
remind
mayor.
people, look him up. Aftab Piraval, mayor of Cincinnati. He was at the Pride, and then he was at the March, and then he was at the Northside Parade. So I keep seeing this man everywhere. But the crispest, whitest shirt that man was wearing at the protests, and I was like right behind him, and I'm like, my mom was like, how do you get a shirt that white? I don't know. How do you get
You
that
launder
crisp?
it, Amy. Wink.
It's 90% humidity out. How do you look like
This
that?
goes all the way to the mayor's office.
I'm telling
the
you.
laundering.
Uh-oh.
It's
Where-
all
That's-
connected.
I think it's because that shirt is just made of righteous light.
Yeah.
We're in too deep now.
Oh, shit.
So we
I guess I summoned
exposed.
something
Yeah.
with my shirt, and
we released Origins too.
yeah, we did.
Andy, that means you have the Topicana question. You want to tease it? Do you have it ready?
No, because I didn't think
It's
about
totally
it.
all right.
That's
I'll
okay.
just drop a Topicana bomb on you guys tomorrow
All
or
right.
something.
All right, a Bombacana.
Yeah.
Bombacanda.
Bombacanda.
Bumbleclat.
Bomb.
Bumbleclat.
Remember that?
That was such a weird trend.
The internet's fun, but I mean, it's a real. Anyway,
It's a real word, right? I see. I don't know anything.
that's true.
What's a real word?
Bombaclat.
It was like a thing people were saying on the internet, and then you find out is it Jamaican?
Yeah. But,
It was?
Yeah.
it
It was like it felt like a whole year of Bombaclat
It
at
was like
least.
2 or 3
I
years
haven't-
ago.
This is the first I've heard of it.
Well, you're rarely on Twitter, and that's where I feel like I found it.
I would say I'm almost never on Twitter.
Yeah.
So I still don't know what it means, but that's okay.
Well,
it doesn't mean anything, does it? You just
I
say
don't
it.
really remember.
Oh, it's just an expression.
Yeah.
Like an exclamation.
Like if
Heavens to Betsy's.
like when Kelley said I've never heard of Bumbleclat, we would have said Bumbleclat
There
in
you go.
response because
Oh, okay.
it's I don't know. It's
It's kind of a fun
it's a
word to
nonsense
just throw.
word.
Yeah, throw in
you
there.
just shout it out just to shout it out, basically.
I remember I didn't know that Dagmar was a real name until Kelley knew someone named Dagmar and was
No,
calling her-
I didn't.
He
I
didn't.
made the name up.
But it is
Their
a
name
real,
was not actually Dagmar. It
yeah,
is a real name.
It's a real name.
He was using it as a way to describe this person.
Yeah.
He
It
did
was a
not
Their
gnome
name
de,
was-
gnome de plume.
There was yes, I gave them that name, but they were a real person and it was a real name.
Yeah,
But
it blew my
but they-
mind. Later, I read it somewhere. And I was like, "Fuck, Dagmar." I was like, "It's a real name." I thought Kelley made that word up.
Is Dagwood a real name?
Yeah.
I'd love to. Well, it's at least from that cartoon.
Yeah.
I'd love to.
a sandwich named after him.
I would love to claim credit for Dagmar, but no, it's pre-existing
Yeah, it's a pre-existing condition.
condition.
You can't get insurance now.
No, we don't cover Dagmar or its subsidiaries.
Yeah, so patreon.com/NOTLP.
Well, it depends on what stage of Dagmar you're in.
Yeah.
You can find Origins and Topicana there.
Oh yeah.
But you got to pay for it.
Oh yeah.
No.
Oh yeah.
That's the premium stuff.
And thank you so
I'm
much,
saying.
by the way. Like I've said this, I think every week, but the impact of your patronage is felt hugely here now because I'm just creating stuff, and Amy's bringing home all the bacon. So thank you so much.
You smell that?
And with inflation, bacon is so
That's my
expensive
bacon.
nowadays.
And
Yeah,
bacon
boy.
is expensive. You should buy it in bulk and freeze it.
I'm bringing it home. I say, fry that shit up.
when
And
it's
he's
on
like,
sale.
yes, ma'am.
I
And then
do.
we're
I
good.
say I call her ma'am, and I
He
get
says,
the
"What do you mean?"
bacon going. And I tell Amy, this is inapropos.
Well,
Perez. You guys waiting for me to do something?
I mean, we're
Thanks
just
to
chilling.
speaking of patrons and things that we do. Thanks to patron Joe.
Jordan Jeans?
The other one.
Other one.
Joe R.
For doing the Music League again.
Oh! Bear Jojo Bear.
Yes.
Music League was so much fun.
Music League is back. Yeah. I'm so excited to see it come back.
And he does a great job of making the themes match what we're doing on the podcast. So like the first one was Queens, which was songs featuring
There's music.
Can I just say that I got killed in this round. Sorry that y'all don't appreciate Big Girls Don't Cry, Fergie, her performance in that song. I fucking love that song.
I actually really like that song too.
But nobody voted for
I like Fergie.
Freddie gave me
but not that
point.
song.
That song means something to me, and I don't know why.
I don't mind.
Did you cry over it?
Because I know why. You explained why.
It was like the song of the summer when I got my first like real job, and I could play music at my desk.
And I feel like
it was just always on.
Maybe you played it like enough that it just. I am attached to it kind of in a way because then we just bought the house maybe too like around the time
no this was
like
that
later
2007.
Oh shit, yeah.
But like all of the people in our music league, which you would have access to if you had access to our Discord, and to do that you got to be a patron anyway. The people in this music league, they said what?
They said no to Fergie.
No, thank you.
No, Fergie.
I got one vote from Freddie.
Oh,
it's fine.
But I will tell you this: I knew Jezebel's was you. I knew it.
Yeah.
So I like to know. Like I love trying to figure out whose songs are whose.
Right.
You guys are like, if I know somebody, I knew one of yours for sure, Freddie. Like right off the bat.
Brandi Carlile, no doubt.
It was Brandi Carlile.
Yeah.
But I thought you were Pink Floyd, and you weren't.
Yeah.
But I knew Amy was Jezebel's and Fergie. I guessed both yours this week.
Keep putting Fergie songs in the league until
I listen. No, look, listen.
It's gonna be London Bridge.
I want to tell Amy this.
Yeah,
I do. I like Fergie quite a bit. I'm a fan. Not really Black Eyed Peas, but Fergie, and just not that one. That is like is the one I don't like.
Should I have done Fabulous?
I also don't. No, I don't really like that one that much either.
He doesn't like Fergie.
No, I do. I really like. I like
My Humps.
The Love Bug one.
Yeah.
I like that other one. I like the London Bridge song.
You don't have to make me feel
London
better.
Bridge is falling down.
I do.
I like the London Bridge song, and I like that one. You know the one I'm talking about.
Yes.
How do you feel about?
Can't help it. She can't help it. The girl can't help it. No, not glamorous.
Not glamorous, but I was remembering that was the name of the song and not. Fabulous.
Oh yeah, you called it Fabulous.
Yeah.
Flossing.
Flossing.
Well, how do you guys feel about her rendition of the national anthem?
Okay, listen.
I don't know.
I felt bad for her.
I know we should make fun of people, but come on.
It was ridiculous. It is very funny to listen to.
And she pee-peed too. I mean, hasn't she suffered enough?
I know everybody has a bad day at the office.
But we've witnessed 2 of hers.
I didn't witness
her day at the office is photographed and filmed.
Yeah, think about that shit the next time.
I feel like we're still not clear if that's pee-pee or not. I'm not sure.
She admitted to it, I think.
Oh, she did admit it?
I don't care that she peed her pants.
No, of course not.
Who doesn't pee their pants?
I peed my pants many times.
Right.
Everybody who's cool pees their pants.
We are doing it.
But I feel that her rendition of the national anthem is what America deserves. Right now,
yes.
Oh, yeah.
We don't know. We're not. No
we
one in this
deserve
country
the Roseanne one.
is allowed to listen to Whitney Houston. We're only allowed to listen to Roseanne or Fergie do our nation songs.
So, I cannot remember for the life of me.
Is there a Larry the Cable Guy version of the national anthem we could have to listen to?
You know there is.
I feel like that's probably.
Yeah.
I forgot what my other song was this time.
Oh, Seether.
Seether. Veruca Salt. Yeah. I love doing Music League. It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's so fun.
Anything else you guys want to add?
No.
Everybody should watch Barbarella. It's amazing.
Oh, Barbarella.
I just watched it.
We should do a show on
that.
Oh
yeah. It's I got a complicated relationship with that movie.
Oh no.
All them boners, huh?
No, it's just like it looks so cool, and I love Jane Fonda, and there are a lot of fun things about it, but like it's also so stupid and so boring and so I don't understand what the hell is that. Yes.
It's stupid for real. It is stupid.
It is long.
Boring?
Oh yeah. I think once those scenes start dragging out and they just have this weird pointless dialogue, it's like, all right, let's get to the next thing. Come on.
I wonder if the cut I saw was different than the one you saw, because it was pretty wild.
I found
Did they have the orgasm machine? Like, do you remember?
Yeah, absolutely. It was Barbarella.
And the weird shit where they're sitting touching each other's hands and.
Yeah, I mean that's cool for me. Like I said, there's cool things. I have a I don't dislike the movie. Well, I don't like it or dislike it, but it is interesting. It looks great. Jane Fonda's beautiful. You can't take your eyes off her. She's what kept me in the movie. I watched the whole thing because of her. But like a lot of it, I was like, this is dumb. And like not dumb in a way I like. Like, all right. But then there'd be something cool. Like Duran and his orgasm machine. I'm like, I like this. But then she's just standing in there for a while. It's like, come on, man. Like I like things about it.
I think I might have been primed to love it because we've been watching so much Farscape and it has a vibe. Like Farscape's vibe.
It's very creative. It's very colorful.
Yeah, just that.
I really enjoyed myself.
I love the way it looks. I love the way it looks.
I don't disagree with what you're saying, Kelley, but I came out loving it.
But I'll die for your right to say it.
Yes.
Barbarella for me is akin to House of a Thousand Corpses, where I like the way it looks. I like a lot of the way it feels, but there's a lot of shit that I don't need and I wish wasn't in it. And it gets boring and just nonsensical in a way I don't like.
Fair enough. I find that, Kelley, you are just a never-ending layer of onion on onion to me.
He's a big onion.
That's my podcast now, Onion on Onion.
I love unraveling you. Unraveling. I love getting down to those layers where I find out that a movie I thought you probably loved is that you thought was boring. And I'm like,
I mean, it's okay. I like things about it. I understand why.
I get it. It wasn't enough for you. You're a greedy little bitch, aren't you? You want it all.
I have very high standards, and not just high, but specific.
Yeah.
I have very specific needs.
I get it. You are a connoisseur, is what they call it, right? Once you're like, I just know exactly what it is I'm looking for, buddy.
I'm a demanding consumer.
Yeah.
He's a Karen about
his choosy mom.
Well, on the flip side, I feel Freddy is a greedy little bitch in terms of people not liking what he likes. He needs to know why.
Oh shit! Oh, I do, because you know why?
Because I understand you want to share your joy, but when somebody doesn't like something as much as you do, you don't have to process that.
Well, you know why that is, right?
A lot of people do.
I'm trying to figure out what's broken in that other person.
Oh.
You see?
Because you're the only one that's like right and fixed.
Right, exactly. Yeah. My perspective matters more. What are you saying, Kelley?
Real quick, can I tell you something goofy that just happened? Mm-hmm. So I have my phone open in front of me. I'm not looking. It's just open to Instagram, and there's this little video clip. It's like a commercial or something of a dude in a garden. It's been playing the whole time, but I've seen it. But just a moment ago, I glanced down and I saw the movement, and I thought someone was behind me. I had a little brain connection error. And I kind of turned around real quick, is that Alise? And then I realized it's not only not on the Zoom, it's on the phone, and it's been on the phone.
Yeah.
And I thought I'd share that. I have COVID.
You have COVID brain.
To be fair, when I see Millie's tail sometimes out of the corner of my eye, or I'll mistake either my own hair for a person or Millie's tail. Yeah. I'm just not used to having long hair anymore, but it'll hang down on the side. I'm like, oh!
Has that happened to you, Andy?
Freddie thinks he sees hairy people.
I see hairy people. It's just the darkness, the fact that there's something there.
My long hair.
People got no.
I feel like I'm covered in bugs all the time.
Because your hair is
yeah.
Your hair is nipple length.
Covered in bugs.
It's
life.
It's an awful feeling. Even it gets caught in my shorts sometimes. And the little hairs brush against my leg.
Oh yeah. Because you shed. That's my life.
I'm constantly swatting my body right now.
You ever notice me just rubbing my arms?
Sweat your body.
I'm trying to get hair off of me. Welcome.
I had to pull a hair out. I had to pull a hair out of my butt the other day.
Well,
it was real.
Did it keep coming and coming and coming?
It was like a magician's trick.
Yeah.
Somehow it got up in there and I pulled it out.
A real thick brown hair.
Yeah.
That smelled like farts.
Yeah. That was a turd, Andy.
Oh my Lord.
That was a real gross joke I just did. Now I know I have COVID brain.
That's not like you.
It's not.
Kelly does
not my
blue.
It's not my use
Kelly's
to go bathroom.
Classier.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't ever, but that was a
You don't ever. You're not saying you don't ever go bathroom.
I don't ever. I will never say never. Sometimes I'll go bathroom.
Right.
You guys like David Chappelle, like that's doo doo, baby.
You guys ready? Should we move on?
Yeah.
I feel like we've done a very beefy intro here.
Beefy.
It's so beefy.
It is so beefy.
Hello, boys and girls. It's time for straight to video Russian roulette.
That's a little bit of the cool music from Mad God. There's no dialogue in the movie, so I just thought I'd play a little bit of that. Give you some flavor. Flavor. So Mad God is Phil Tippett's feature that he has been working on for 30 years, which blew my mind to begin with. So I guess like this, if in case you don't know, it's stop motion animation, and Phil Tippett is known for working on everything we loved as kids in the 80s, like from the movies, all the Star Wars stuff and RoboCop and all that. Like he's the guy who animated all that stuff, like Ed 209. But like this is all him. Mad God. Yeah, he wrote and directed it. And I know some of his students also contributed in parts, you know, because he runs this company that is basically contracted out to do this for other creators, and his group did this, and it is like watching. It feels like Dante's Inferno. Like I think that's why I brought that up earlier. It was in my subconscious. Mm-hmm. It kind of feels like a Dante's Inferno kind of story. Kelly, I think you're. Oh, I'm sorry, Kelly. I couldn't hear you before.
Oh, you son of a bitch! It was because you knew the truth I was dropping. The listeners now don't understand all the things that I could have saved this world with, and I won't repeat myself.
Nope. I thought it was weird you were so quiet, and I was like...
To be fair, I was actually being quiet.
You were? Okay.
I was listening to you, but...
Well, because Phil Tippett, I figured if anybody was a big fan of his, you would be...
I'm not. Well, it's not that I'm not. I'm not as aware of him as a... This is exciting for me, because I love animation, so... And of course, I'm familiar now that you mentioned like Ed 209, and even that style. I think I can probably figure out some others.
Well, he invented it. That not stop motion animation, but the type, which is called like Gomo or something like that. Actually, I should have checked before I started.
Yeah, let's just sit here while he
invented
No Gomo.
No Gomo.
Anyways, I'm not. It's boring for me to keep looking. If you just look up Phil Tippett and his style, but what he did was he invented a way to cover the transitions of moving pieces with a blur, kind of, so that why it looked like he's kind of like he would be the successor to like Ray Harryhausen. Yeah. And there's this movie also has a lot of Easter eggs in the background too of other models that they built are in the movie and from other stuff throughout like sci-fi history, but it's just really an amazing experience. The music is great. The vibe is, if you remember some of the Tool music videos that had stop motion,
like the one that we just saw on Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah,
we were watching.
Yeah, so like those music videos that had that kind of stop motion element, this is like that stylistically, but refined to the point where it's like perfect. You know, like it thematically, like there's moments of live action actors being filmed for certain things, like in puppets and stuff like that. But it's mostly stop motion throughout, and it's like phenomenal. It's like it is, you know, right up there with was that Paranorman with stop motion?
Oh, the
right?
Leica?
Yeah,
with the Leica stuff, or with what was another one I just
Robot Chicken.
kidding. No, I was gonna say Nightmare Before Christmas. Like it's kind of that. It's like it's that level. Did you ever see
the one that Wes Anderson did?
Oh, Mr. Fox.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, Mr. Fox is great.
Isle of Dogs.
I haven't seen Isle of Dogs, but I loved Mr. Fox.
Yeah. Those are great. Both also great stop motion movies.
We're not allowed to watch them in this house. Amy has a very strict.
Excuse me, no.
She has a very strict.
The rule is I don't want to watch.
But I only watch it with
Wes Anderson.
Really.
So what's the plot of this movie?
This movie, I couldn't tell you honestly. Like it's an adventure movie in the way that. I mean, let me try to. I'll try to summarize. Here, I'm actually going to give you what it says here on IMDb to start, and then I'll try to elaborate. A corroded diving bell descends amidst a ruined city, and the assassin emerges from it to explore a labyrinth of bizarre landscapes inhabited by freakish denizens. So, that being said, it is literally just like going into a work of art.
Yeah,
it's a piece of art. It's not a traditional narrative. It has you feel like there's a beginning, middle, and end because of the pacing and the visuals, or like the way it's put together. You feel that. It's kind of like when you watch Fantasia. Like it's that kind of vibe where you're like, I don't need to know exactly how all this fits together, because I was dropped in this environment and now I get to explore it, and that's enough.
Yeah. So it's like transportive.
Very, very, very. Like this is shit. Like I would be shocked if this doesn't get recognized. Like I don't give a shit about the Academy Awards or any of that, and I don't put any value on it. But
whoa, Freddie, come on, come on now. Listen, I understand there's some problem, but come on now. Think about what you're saying. Just think about what you're doing.
You're scaring me. I almost feel like you're serious.
No, I'm definitely not.
What are they gonna do?
Freddie's gonna cut you off again.
So
ban you for 10 years.
I'll play you off. But like I'm just saying, like this looks like something that, other than the more bizarre elements to it, like or grotesque elements, would be a contender for some sort of.
So this
award.
Is like it was like a Shudder exclusive, right? So there's horror elements to it, right?
Yeah, it's definitely horror. Visually, it's a horror movie. It's like, the environment practically feels like hell. There are creatures in it. There are lots of great creatures. Like the creature designs in this are so cool. It'd be like a great video game.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch this.
Yeah,
you love this.
I really did. I loved it. I wasn't sure if I loved it. I was like, I like it, and then the more I think about it, I'm like, I had not felt that way watching a movie for a very long time. Probably the last time I really felt that way was watching something like Labyrinth or
Avatar,
or like it felt like a Jim Henson kind of experience. Like,
yeah, boy.
In that it got really the dark side of Henson that he never really fully explored. This kind of feels like maybe what would have come out of that. But highly recommend it.
It sounds like it could don't necessarily need to watch it all the way through. You can jump in at any moment.
Yeah, and I think he released it in parts originally. Because it feels like they do like the chapters or acts, whatever you want to call them. They stylistically kind of are self-contained in a way, but yet the consistency across the entire runtime is like you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know that it was maybe short films that were stitched together because it is so consistent throughout. But there are shifts. Like there's one segment and it becomes very colorful and it goes against the palette of the other sections you'd already seen, where it makes it stand out and it has a totally different feel to that moment in it. So it's kind of like
I'm super excited
type of thing. Very Fantasia. If you like movies like Fantasia, would be the closest thing.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. I love that kind of thing. Animation set to music, and especially I like Primal.
Yeah, Primal's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, I love that dude, Gendy Tartarovsky. So yeah, I'm super psyched to watch this.
Yeah, you're gonna love it. I guarantee.
I guarantee.
You won't think it's boring like Barbarella. Boring Barbarella.
I bet you're right. I basically will be like boo. Barbarella so boring.
Is that a diction exercise?
Pop those bees.
Boos.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Freddie,
Bubble
for your glowing review of Mad
Bubble
Guy.
Bubble.
It was my pleasure, Amy.
Next week,
I
somebody.
can you stall for just 1 minute while I put names
I love to
on
play
the wheel?
Bubble
Well, I'm
Bubble.
reading the movie description.
Oh, do that. That's perfect.
Remember how Bubble Bobble? That was a great game.
Man, that is one of my all-time favorite games, Bubble Bobble.
Yeah, that's
One
the
of
one
my
with the little dinosaur shooting bubbles out, right?
Yeah. there's like two
When
of
I was a kid, the family that we hung out with at the Kingdom Hall the most, the kids for a while, that was the only Nintendo game they could play or things like it because no one like got killed, quote unquote.
I thought you were
They
going to
just
say
got-
that the family's name was Bubble Bobble. And then
And
later, I was gonna find
ironically,
out it was
also
real.
coincidentally, it was brother and sister Bubble Bobble.
Wow. The Bubble Bobbles.
Adorable. Okay.
Is there a family name? There's the Bobbles from Bubble. And people were like, you mean the Bubble Bobbles?
Jesus Christ.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Were they Barbara?
If you
and Bobby?
could find something to work that into, it would be
Bubble and Bobble and Bubble
Bubble and Bobby Bubble Bubble. The Bubble Bubble the Bubble and Bobby.
They just sound like a drowning person.
Oh, dear.
You chew hubba bubba all the time.
Bubble.
It's another Shudder original.
And this Chumbawamba.
Revealer is the name of the movie.
Ooh.
Barely know her.
This is going to be interesting. Tensions rise when a stripper and religious protester are trapped together in a peep show booth
Oh, I saw this advertised.
and must
Yeah.
come together to survive the apocalypse in 1980s Chicago.
I think we brought that to life. We put that in the world.
You've been
and-
talking about Kelley at his strip booth.
It's true, and I didn't know that you had chosen this at the time. Have we met before?
No.
And then I cut her in half. Okay, let's see who's going to be watching.
Yeah.
What is it called again?
Revealer.
Revealer. And it looks like it's going to be... Oh, Amy.
Oh, ding dong.
Oh, ding dong, Amy.
My real
Can I
ding-dong.
just say, I'm feel like that wheel, like I'm not complaining that I'm not getting movies, but I feel like that wheel
I'll let
is,
you watch it.
is
Do you think it's racist?
it's not
Against
racist.
him.
It's it's more homophobic.
I got you.
I just haven't been picked
Which
for
is-
like months.
Is it trying to take the rainbow back since it's all colorful and
Oh,
stuff?
yeah.
Shit, our little prize wheel.
I'm just saying,
It's a
wheel.
big hit.
I'm onto you, wheel.
Oh,
sorry,
snap.
Andy.
We got such bad luck with Russian roulette things.
You really do.
All right, well, on that note, let's talk about Split Second.
Forrest.
I unloaded a full clip 450 Magnum, point blank. It disappeared.
He can hear its heartbeat.
Where'd he go?
He knows it's out there.
Somebody must have seen something.
He knows what it can do.
You're telling me there's something running around loose in this city, ripping the hearts out of people and eating them? Maybe he eats them for breakfast.
Now it's really pissing him off. And his new partner
I work alone.
makes two.
Paranoid people with guns are a menace to society.
You'd be paranoid too if you had a dipshit like this following you.
I've got honors in serial homicide.
Oh, terrific.
It has no motive.
The only thing we know for sure is that he's not a vegetarian.
It has the DNA structure of all its victims.
It gives no warning.
You ready to die?
But one thing's for certain.
We gotta get bigger guns.
It ain't no pushover.
Bingo! We want to get to Cannon Street.
No, you don't.
Yes, we do.
Boy, are you pushy.
I wouldn't say this thing thinks it's safe. I'd say it is safe.
Rat bastard! Satan is a deep shit. Get out of there! 5 seconds! Okay, 4,
power. Split second.
Nice timing.
Split second.
That's why it's called Split Second.
I think the trailer was more interesting than the movie.
Oh, dude.
When we finished, I texted more like shit second.
Zawo?
Yes, that is absolutely a Zawo. I grant myself a Zawo.
And as you should. I'll allow it this one time. Listening to that trailer made me realize I don't remember jack fucking shit, and I just watched that 2 nights ago.
Well, there's nothing to remember because it is foreplay to a monster reveal that never really pans out.
Freddie.
Well, let me.
Okay. Tell us why you wanted to do this movie.
There are a lot of reasons. One is I think, despite the movie being utterly ridiculous, that Rutger Hauer's performance in it is really something kind of special. It's borderline like Shatner-esque.
I feel like he was acting like in a different movie.
Well, yeah, and I love the chemistry between him and his new partner.
Honestly, that is something that was good.
Yeah, I thought Rutger Hauer...
That was fun.
Could he be described as adorable in this movie? Because he was pretty adorable at times.
He lived in his own filth. I don't understand how that man is fuckable. Kim Cattrall is ready to go, and I'm like, this dude clearly never uses his sinks.
Oh my gosh!
There was
showers.
There was that scene in the police bathroom, and he's brushing his teeth, but he
wire brush.
No, he rinses with coffee.
I said at that moment, I was like, this dude does not look like someone who is a regular brusher. I don't buy this at all.
Well, I really want
him because the character choices they had made for him. Like, he likes coffee and chocolate.
Yeah.
And that's his whole character arc.
Chocolate's on the okay, I'll let you go.
Well, I really want to unpack this movie because it hits every fucking every mark of like a mid to mid 90s action movie where it has every cliche you can imagine in it.
It feels like it was written by Mac and Charlie.
It does. And that's why I actually love this movie, is because it is so pure. But it's you start off with this character played by Rutger Hauer who is a cop, but he's totally an unhinged asshole. And he's going to this club to locate.
He doesn't play by any rules.
He's a typical grizzled, tortured cop, like your Mel Gibsons, your Morgan Freemans from Seven. He's like that typical, but he's got a little bit of like charm to him. He's cute.
Yeah, he
made me want to throw up.
He points a gun at everyone in the bar, like to question them. Like he literally goes from 0 to 100 miles an hour in a split second.
He forgot to say.
Well, that's his go-to move, is just grabbing people by the throat and shoving them into walls.
Yeah.
Like that's just his.
Ooh, that's another thing.
It's just fucking with
go-to
everyone.
move.
I realize that's one of my dreams in life, to grab somebody by the lapels and throw them against the wall.
Oh yeah,
and shake them.
We can make that happen.
Well, apparently nothing happens to you if you do.
You forgot to mention, the movie takes place in the future. 14 years ago. 2008?
Yeah, it was made in 92, takes place in 2008.
And then it's in London, and London is basically sinking underwater.
Yeah, it's because global warming. It caused like torrential rains.
Yeah.
But they made it sound like it was going to be like it should have been like this horrendous, like, and then you get there and it's just sort of around their ankles.
Yeah.
And
up to their knees.
It said like there's no more day anymore. There's
mostly
always
night because of the smog.
Because of the smog. Pollution's so bad.
But rats are taking over.
But they didn't really explore any of that too much.
No, they didn't.
It was not necessary for the city to be wet and dark.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to mention, this is the same guy who directed The Burning, that slasher movie. It's very much like Friday the 13th. But
that was good. That was with George Costanza.
Yeah. Tony Malum. But so Rutger Hauer's partner has been killed, we learn, and this creature that he has tracked to this bar is responsible for it. And boy, he really is pissed. He's so mad he calls a dog a dickhead.
He does. He keeps talking to the dog.
He does. The
bar owner has a dog.
He was like at one point interrogating the dog.
Like, what'd you see?
Yeah.
You saw
I
him,
said
right?
again out loud, I said, does he think that dog's going to answer him?
I feel like he did. No, I don't feel the dog answered him. I mean, I feel like Rutger Hauer's character, what was his name?
He played
Harley Stone, because there's a joke about that later.
Like, he played it. His character choice was, this guy is communicating with the dog.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, he gets assigned this partner who is also like some sort of psychologist.
He's the newbie character.
Hotshot.
He's the Brad Pitt character.
He's the character that's been through the behavioral science unit stuff at Quantico, I guess, and like knows all the serial killer shit. But what's great is when he finds out he's being assigned to Harley Stone, he's like reading the file, and he's like, and the guy's like, he's been fired from every job and every shithole everywhere. And then the other guy says, they say he's the best.
That was a great moment. Well, for
this was written. This was written. What's funny is that the person, I looked it up, they're still working and making things that have been well regarded. And so
I regard this well enough.
Oh well,
Freddie, sweet summer child.
It's subjective, but. The writing level of some of the other things just seems to me to be
horrific,
above the level of this that he's done.
So that chief.
So this.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say this seems to be this was thrown together hastily.
Yeah, it felt cheap and lazy.
Yes.
So cheap. This movie cost $80 to make.
I feel like everybody was having fun.
Yeah, that's the thing. It really does look that way. Like, well,
that's because that's how they paid them in fun.
They did fun.
I think they knew what movie it was. They didn't really try. Nobody really tried. That's the thing.
Well, I wanted to say that it's Alan Armstrong who plays Thrasher, the chief. Who, if you're a fan of Kroll or Tales from the Crypt, he was in The Mummy.
Oh yeah, that dude's he's got one of those faces. He's been in everything.
Well, you know who else has one of those faces is Pete Postlewaite, who's also in this. Postlewaite. So you have one guy out in the bullpen with the other cops, and then the chief, and they both have the same face. Those two actors look so much alike to me.
It's a very Great Britain face.
It really is.
Oh yeah, he also looks like the actor who plays the head of the Watchers Council on Buffy. So I was like, oh, it's that dude, and I was like, it's not that dude, but it is another that dude.
It's so funny you should say that because Amy and I noticed that Rutger Hauer looks a lot like Anthony Stewart Head. Like, and it's one of those things.
I said Anthony Stewart Head and Conan O'Brien had a baby.
Yeah,
he's getting some Anthony Stewart Head.
It is when you really look at them next to each other. It's in especially certain angles they look a lot alike.
Anthony Stewart body.
But it's
he's giving Anthony Stewart Head.
His new partner is Dick Durkin, played by
this movie absolutely written. Was the writer like 12 when this came out? Like was that?
I feel like
I'm gonna make his name Dick Durkin. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make fun of the writer of this movie, but a little bit.
They make fun of it in the movie itself. Remember, like the two of them.
I do. Are
in the apartment together, and he says, "Your name is Harley Stone." And they start laughing. That was a blooper they left in where I guess the two actors were just fucking around with each other.
You couldn't tell because I'm sure the movie was full of bloopers.
Yeah, well,
it was all blooper.
It had so many moments that felt so good. Like
felt so good.
Felt so good in that blooperiness of them.
On the whole.
The whole. But like the part where they like bust in through the door together later when I'm jumping ahead.
Well, whatever.
I want to get to Kim Cattrall.
Yes.
They busted through a lot of doors, Fred. You got to be very specific.
There's one in particular where they both come through with guns, and it is so framed, like you could just see where the director's like, you got to hit these marks. This is the money shot.
Well, no, you could tell that they didn't have any, because you're like in movies that care.
Yeah.
When cops bust in, they have a certain way of like procedure. These busted in like they're playing cops and robbers with.
Yeah, they came out. They came through the doorway at once, almost making a clog, and then they came out in formation on either side of the doorway, like synchronized swimmers.
Like there were kids playing.
This is what Kelly's saying. Like a kid wrote it. Now it's kids making it.
Yeah,
and this whole world.
Nice.
This whole world is so loosey-goosey and like everything just feels so jumbled together. Like none of the sets exactly go together, and the costumes just look like it's like they're just what they wore, like they're their own clothes and like 2 or 3 things they found at a thrift store.
What I was trying to figure out. Like
Rutger Hauer won't take off the duster.
He only wears leather, and he's just walking through the wet slushy streets.
Like
he sleeps in it.
He was
because he does not shower.
He was like observing a dead body, and he started dripping on that dead body. It was so gross.
And then the guy, his partner, only wears suits.
Yeah,
dude, you're walking through ankle deep to calf deep water all the time. It was just silly decisions that were being made.
No one is walking around in galoshes. There's not any there's no apparel.
Nobody have their
that's
rubbers?
No, if you look at Rucker Hauer's pants, he's wearing, those are like big rubber pants. They look like leather, but he's wearing big rubber pants with suspenders.
Oh, is that why he's like all sweaty?
Oh, is he wearing waders? I didn't even catch that.
Well, if you look, you'll notice like his body shape is kind of weird in some of the scenes where
I did think that.
Yeah, it looks like
his diaper.
Yeah, or like he has a diaper on is what it looks like. Or
Yeah.
Like, he's just, his measurements around his waist, his hips is weird. It's off.
He kind of looked like one of those like Fisher Price peoples.
Yeah.
That's a good way of putting it. But I love the small talk that the two cops have with each other, and that it turns out that Dick Durbin has sex every day and gets up and goes on a run at 5 a.m. every day. Mm-hmm. And then that becomes a joke where every time they meet someone new, Harley Stone, Rucker Hauer's character, introduces him and then says, "This guy has sex every day."
Because he can't believe it.
Well,
that's in Harley Stone's world, sex every day is like you got to be the king of the greatest gold kingdom of all. I don't know, but you just
got COVID brain, Kelley, in the greatest kingdom of gold.
Sparkling as twinkles.
So I think he was just more shocked that Dick Durbin?
Yeah, it's because he's a nerd.
Durkin?
Yeah, Durkin himself is having sex, not that somebody could have sex every day.
Yeah, he was just astounded that anyone would do that.
That specifically him, because he's such an uptight, nerdy character.
Well, I feel like also he was like,
let's fight about this for at least 10 more minutes.
I think that was almost like a who has the energy comment. Like, because
that's what I got too. That's how I took it as well. But like Andy could be right.
All he does is smoke all day and drink coffee.
Yeah.
Don't forget the chocolate.
And let's get to Kim,
which is for lovers.
Let's get to Kim Cattrall so I can talk about some stuff.
Kim Cattrall's character, Michelle McLean. You had to name your cops McLean in the 80s too. That was something else. Like her, she's the widow of his partner, but they were also stupping. Amy and I had a disagreement about whether or not the affair happened
they
before.
said in the movie that they were having an affair, then the partner dies, and then they continue having an affair, and then he ghosted her. But no. What I heard was they started the affair after the partner had died.
That's how I took it.
I took it as they were sleeping while the partner was alive, and then the partner got killed.
We're split,
and then that's when they kind of like
split again.
Yeah.
That he took off when he died. He dumped her after.
It was just a lot of guilt.
But for whatever reason, she doesn't seem to feel that poorly for Harley Stone, because they meet up at his partner's tomb. At
the
London necropolis.
Polychronopolis.
And she goes back to his apartment with him and is like, I'd probably fuck him. Now, this is a man who's been wearing leather or rubber pants all day.
And his apartment's so nasty. There are pigeons living in it, right?
They're just flying all over the place. There's exposed metal.
And it seems like he's kind of friends with the pigeons.
Yeah, well, they at least are a family, right? At minimum.
Nothing is clean.
At one point, there's a pigeon sleeping on his head, and he just lets it.
Well, I love when they're having this serious conversation, and a pigeon, it looks like someone threw a pigeon into Kim Cattrall's face off camera, and they just roll with it. So much of this movie is fuck it. Like, we're going to get this done in 2 takes, maximum. And like, I love that about it. It has a frenetic energy to it that is like watching like a fucking jam band or something, where you're just like, what are they going to do? What are they going to do next?
So
sure.
There's a scene at like the next morning he's gone to work. She's still in the apartment. She's in the kitchen, and she just reaches to the fridge where there are pieces of chocolate stuck to the outside of the fridge in a heart shape.
I think it was for her.
I get that.
But he didn't clean the one. There's still pigeons.
That was a dirty fridge.
The intent was there.
She ate that chocolate.
But the thing is, they're both nasty.
Yes.
But she ate it.
It's a grimy movie.
No, but after she ate it, she looked down at it like it was the best thing she ever ate.
Dude, I love chocolate though too. I might eat dirty chocolate.
You're not gonna eat it off would you eat it off Rucker Hauer's refrigerator?
She was ready for the UTI that she was gonna get.
That's true.
So
She was ready for anything.
whatever.
Oh man, there's that part earlier when he gets his coffee, and you were talking about him gargling with coffee and also stirring his coffee with people's pens.
Yes.
Oh, why does he? And that was his preference. It's not only did he do it just to show up that guy for pissing him off, because apparently his character is also a recovering alcoholic. So they think when the killer sends a heart to the police station that it's a case of beer. That they think he's having beer at his desk, and that's
right.
They have another moment when he has a coffee and he asks someone for a pen to stir it,
and then later he's drinking coffee that came out of the sink and had a cigarette butt in it.
Yeah, that part. It had a couple of cigarette butts.
And she was so DTF for him.
I think he's a good-looking guy.
He is a good-looking guy,
but it's called a shower.
Yeah, but he looks like.
But I think
he looks like he lives outside, and I don't mean like in a Sierra Club kind of way.
In my opinion, it's part of the world building because it's such a gross city. Because of all the smog and all the rain
that everybody gave up. That
everybody's gross.
Kind of how we all did a little bit during the pandemic.
You know what, Andy? That's a really good argument.
All right.
I mean, I think they did build a world.
I was just
in
so
a way.
upset. With her choices.
That hair.
Yeah. That Mia Wallace.
I think certain people can pull it off. The shaved sides, the bob, but not her.
Yeah. That was actually, according to the trivia, still her Star Trek hair. She was in.
All right. Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country. Yeah. One of my favorites of the series.
And that was still the haircut.
Love that there's a big murder mystery in that.
It's so great.
Much better than the movie we were discussing. So they're basically Dick and Harley are out looking for the serial killer.
And they're basically in love with each other.
Like a Jack the Ripper kind of thing. But then they figure out it's actually a monster.
I guess if you want to say Jack, there's like
I think that's what they were trying to do.
I think they're trying to do everything and nothing.
Yeah, they threw in some like supernatural elements in it and some occult stuff.
A bunch of mumbo jumbo
for no reason that had nothing to do. It led nowhere.
It was very confusing and stupid.
Well, it felt like they abandoned that storyline, like where the partner gets the symbol carved in his chest.
Yeah. And he has and Rutger Hauer has a second connection to the monster.
And they never really explained that. Other
Cattrall gets bit, which means it's going to have to be the thing's bride.
Wasn't it the DNA thing where they're like,
it has all of the victim's DNA.
It has all of it, like whatever the fuck that. They just assumed the audience would be like, it has everyone's DNA, so it's psychically connected to everyone whose DNA it has.
Yeah, duh.
And the cops understand it for some reason. When they get the report, they're like, one of them reads it, like the technical part of it. It looks like it has blah, blah, blah. And the other one's like, oh, so the cop, mind you, who earlier thought that his employee was having beer delivered.
Yeah.
Now is like,
was it a bunch of beers?
That means that was a funny line too. It was a bunch of beers. That was a real weird line.
Yeah. They didn't do a second take on any of these.
No.
Pete paused away. Was like, listen, you got me for like 1 or 2 days.
Yeah.
Make it count.
So he's like, that means that they can psychically connect because they have each other's DNA then, right? You know what I mean? Like that leap. It reminds. We've been watching 66 Batman.
This is Batman logic.
And many times throughout this movie, I looked at Amy.
Definitely Batman logic.
This is a Batman episode.
Well, yeah, because Dick keeps seeing like these symbols, and he's like, "Oh, that's Scorpio."
Think about it.
He just plucks things out of.
And think about it. His name is Dick, and he's the young ward. Think about it.
I'm thinking about it. Mm-hmm. Thinking hard.
It's also like a lower tier X-Files episode.
Yeah. And you know Rutger Hauer is dirty in this?
Yeah.
Think about that.
All right, so wait. Okay.
Now think about those chocolates.
So
I can't stop thinking about it.
They were stuck on that fucking dirty ass refrigerator. Pigeons were flying around. The monster is in fact a mutated rat.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is it?
Exactly.
That's what's implied.
It's very humanoid, though.
Is it?
The creature design in this is a mess, too.
My theory
it's
is
garbage. Fuck this movie.
It got bit by these mutant rats, and then it mutated.
So it existed before, and then
I think it was a human before, and then with the mutant rats.
It's a mutant rat human hybrid?
Yes.
There's no way to know.
There's a long way around to that.
I don't know.
I'm just trying to figure this movie out because there's a lot of threads. If you pick at them, it falls apart.
It's the slurry that was left over from the mimic.
But like I said, if you are going to make your whole movie a lead up to a monster reveal, you had better try with that monster at least a little bit. That monster, I better be able to see what you were going for. They barely showed that fucking thing. And then he just reached into its chest and grabbed its heart out like it was made of jelly.
It was perforated. Like the chest was pre-cut.
Rutger Hauer just slammed his hand into this giant
I wouldn't even
monster.
Slammed is a strong word. I feel like he just sort of slid it in there.
He pressed.
He pressed his
He gently
fist.
pressed.
Pulled its damn heart out.
Oh man. You know what else? There was a failed effect, or I consider it a failed effect. They might have been going for this, but I don't see why they were going for this. When the monster is chasing them through the subway car, and it is slicing through like Freddy Krueger through the roof, and you would think its claws would be the thing sticking up and slicing through it.
It's just his hand.
It's the wrist.
Yeah,
it's cutting through it at wrist level with the dull part of its wrist, like the broadest part of its wrist.
That's the original character design, a sharp-wristed monster.
Yeah, that's the fucking thing. Yeah, why does it have a sharp wrist?
About it.
Well, it's because they only had 3 days to make the thing.
So I thought about that a lot.
Every girl's crazy about a sharp wrist monster.
Another thing, like how do they not notice this monster is killing people?
How do they not notice it?
And the monster taunts Harley. Don't forget that monster sent that case with the heart there. He
Monster's a real asshole.
He engaged a courier to send it there.
He got because he killed the first victim is in that crowded London bondage club.
Yeah,
and it kills her in the bathroom. Maybe he blended in with all the other people dressed in leather and like spikes.
Sure,
you know it's possible.
I like to imagine that he just put on a duster, and even though he's like 9 feet tall, everybody just doesn't really realize. Like I like to imagine him standing in line at like the post office. So
it'd be like the Jeeper
to send
Creeper?
those things.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly like that, but way less.
I mean, it's intelligent. It leaves notes on the mirror. It writes.
Yeah.
Somehow with those ridiculous hands, it's ridiculous.
It makes no fucking sense why he would torment the cop either. Like, I mean, there's literally like this movie. I love it because it is messy and because it
was fun.
It is somehow still
for me. I'm sorry, I don't think you guys.
It has an identity.
I liked it because of Rutger Hauer.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't like it at all. Yeah. I was like, this is bullshit, but that's okay. I'm not upset.
I could tell.
You didn't even enjoy.
I'm not upset.
Knights in White Satin constantly playing.
Yeah, didn't you like? They use. I forgot to mention they use Knights in White Satin as.
They
score.
do use that.
It's probably where most of the budget went to get the rights.
Almost weird. All of that's where the whole $80 went was to get the rights to that. And
that and chocolate.
Yeah,
that's what they spent all the money on.
Neither like there was some brief nudity, there was Knights in White Satin, and none of it could save it.
No.
Well, here we go. This kind of explains some of why it's messy. This is from IMDb. Associate producer and screenwriter Gary Scott Thompson's original 1988 spec script was titled Pentagram. It took place in Los Angeles, California, and involved a ritualistic serial killer who murders 5 people every 5 years during the last quarter century and leaves a pentagram symbol after each kill. This is the setup to the movie before the cops know that it's a monster. So I feel like what they did, let me see here.
They just changed it for the worse.
The first version,
they decided
first version of the script was an action buddy cop horror movie with occult overtones. Pentagram got Thompson more jobs, and then they made the first Power, which they thought was too similar, and they decided to muck this one up. To make it less like the first Power.
So somebody decided the movie needed more grossness and wetness.
Yeah, they had to go back and put more drips on the. They had because you have to really ape aliens, you know, with the goo on the mouth, the jaw, Like
they had to have the aliens moment there. Yeah, there was that. Yeah. Then they were like, now also what we want is to have a very confusing tone. We don't want you to know if it's a we don't want you to know at any given moment this could be anything. This movie, it's like writing a novel where that just bounces between different like tenses and POVs.
Everybody loves that.
For me to look at the genre categories on this and not see comedy is kind of shocking, because there is a lot of stupid shit in here that they had to know was played for laughs.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Kim Cattrall's performance was ridiculously stilted and great. Like, I love where she's just like, it bit me. And then, like, you know,
like that. I was like, this lady is remarkably unfazed by getting plowed in the face with a pigeon.
Yes.
I was like, I would have shit my pants every single time.
Yeah.
And she just acted like she kind of like brushed against the door jamb with her elbow. Like,
I love Pete Postlethwaite too. You know, we mentioned him earlier, but that guy is one of the great
there's a lot of good
actors.
actors slumming it in this movie, but they look like they were having fun.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Oh, I'm sorry I subjected you to Split Second.
No, I was charmed by it. I liked it actually.
I was charmed.
But
So we'll
it's fine. It was short.
We'll bring you another Rutger Hauer selection next week.
Do we know what it is yet?
Not
Did you
yet.
guys decide?
We'll figure it out.
All right.
No.
I'm curious. Anyways, we'll be back with that.
At the end of every show, we always say hi to our Beelzebubs. Patreon.com/NOTLP to learn more.
We can't
about
help
that.
it.
Can't help it.
We love you so much, and we just can't help ourselves.
Alise.
I love you. I'll be seeing you downstairs in a moment.
Haha. Lynn Walsh.
I love you. I'll be seeing you downstairs in a moment.
And I come from Lynn Down Under.
Alyssa.
I love you. I'll be seeing you downstairs in a moment.
Brandon and Emily.
I love you. I'll be seeing you downstairs. I'll be seeing you downstairs.
Downstairs is roomy.
Dustin.
Are you scared yet?
Are you gonna see Dustin downstairs? Iona Goodwin.
Iona downstairs.
Dr. Brian.
Doctor downstairs, Brian.
Dr. Downstairs.
I love Dr. Downstairs.
Dr. Downstairs is maybe like one of the greatest character names.
Character name, band name.
It sounds like a Stephen King novel.
Dr.
Nickname,
Downstairs.
Dr. Downstairs.
There's got to be a urologist out there that somebody calls that, or a gynecologist.
I'm going to call my doctor Dr. Downstairs from now on.
You should. Dr. Downstairs.
I'll tell him.
Ask him.
Dr. Downstairs is your downstairs doctor.
Ironically, he's on the 3rd floor.
Isn't that weird?
His name is Luca.
2nd floor, actually.
Oh.
We got Billy C, a.k.a. Jerk Bitch Boat.
Oh.
I'm in your basement too, Billy.
Finally, remember. Bill Farner.
Do you know someone named Chad?
Blake.
Do you hear that? That's me tapping on your pipes.
Mark Watts.
I farted. Did you hear that?
Blayne Yogurt. Get it, Blayne Yogurt. Every time.
I can smell your cooking from down here.
We got Jordache Jeans.
I hope you lock the basement door, Jordy.
We got Paul.
I'm going to eat your eyeballs, Paul.
Jeremy, Cassie, and Gamora.
Oh, I'm going to stay away from Gamora.
I like how this downstairs character becomes more and more Cajun with every name.
But the minute that dog is out of sight, I'm coming to eat your hair.
Ernie.
Hey, Ernie, I said I'm going to eat up everybody's hair, all of it.
Dave Siebert.
I'm going to have one of those things that teen girls get from eating hair, and I'm going to have it surgically removed by Reddit.
Hair baby. Michael Burns.
Michael Burns, I'm down here in the woods with all the gasoline you have in all these cans.
And finally, Monica.
Monica, hey, creakity creakity, I'm coming up them basement stairs.
Oh, dear God.
Creakity creakity. I hope your microwave's got a popcorn button.
Oh, goodness.
All right. Well, Kelley.
Well, we've had some laughs. Thank you for brightening my COVID life today.
I hope we made you feel better for a little while.
This was good for me. Yes. Thank you so much.
It's good for you.
Goodbye, everyone.
Y'all.